It's Almost Real with Justin and friends. Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm Mike Aloia, CEO of American Hearts Radio Entertainment Network, with my partner, Mr. Peter Hefty, America's hippest ventriloquist. And boy, do we got a story for you. This is real life stuff. Plus, I want to give Waffle House a plug. Here, cheers to life, baby. All right.
Waffle House.
God bless everybody, and thank you so much for tuning in. This is an exclusive interview that I wanted to do with Peter, and I wanted to give a history of us together and things that we've done and the way that we met, because we actually got a lot of history together, and a little bit of history about Peter himself, where he's been when he got started, and his puppets. Everybody loves his puppets, man, and in fact, we've got a new show on our network in development that's getting ready to be released, Justin and Friends Almost Real. And I tell you, we're getting a great response off of it already, man. How about that? How do you feel about that, Pete?
Well, I'm excited. It's kind of weird. I've always used to be in the
look at our fans,
the
Pete.
yin and the yang of the show, because as a ventriloquist, you always have you're doing one part, the dummy's doing the other part, and you're going back and forth. But now it's like being a puppeteer. It's like I'm working through Justin. I'm not working back and forth with Justin. So it's a different experience.
Well, I tell you, it's every show that you do, and every stage, and every club, and every theater that we do, it's always a different experience.
Right.
You know, that's one thing about show business that I love, and I know that you love. You never know who you're going to meet. Right. You never know what type of crowd it's going to be. Right. And you never know what kind of crazy situations God's going to, bring to you, and the cool people that God puts in your life.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You meet people that you don't even expect sometimes.
And that's the way we met. And it was a real weird thing how we met. And I'll give you a little prelude to how it came about to us meeting. I started the Rockin' Comedy Crew. I was Enos Mohammed Bubba, the redneck Muslim. I went out on stage dressed like the Muslim right after 9/11 with a bomb strapped on me, carrying a postal bag, throwing anthrax on people, and blowing myself up at the end of my act. I got a band of comedians together from the Comedy Zone workshop. All right, we created the Rockin' Comedy Crew, and we started opening up for rock bands with Rick's band, Southern Boys.
Right. Which
those boys are still around, and they're still hanging out. God rest Rick's soul, but he gave me my start.
Right.
Now, fast forward a little bit. Rockin' Comedy Crew is doing pretty darn good here locally. And old Fred Posen, I love the guy. He helped coach me out there at the Comedy Zone. He gave me my break. With the redneck Muslim, he put me on stage, and then he coached me to be straight stand-up. But then when the Rockin' Comedy Crew started getting a little bit of recognition here locally, he told me I couldn't play the stage no more. He didn't want me taken out of his room to come see us.
Gotcha.
All right, it's a territorial thing in the comedy world.
Right.
That
it's
happens
all over
a lot.
the United
Yes.
States. Yeah, it's all over.
And so I started booking my own gigs, man.
Right.
I started booking my own rooms. I got the Finnegan's out in Flagler Beach.
Yep.
I had a deal going on in St. Mary's, Georgia, Tallahassee, Lake City, Pensacola, and I started growing, man. And then we got the TV show.
Yep.
But prior to the TV show, and right about the time I got the TV show, I had booked you through Larry Silver with Groucho's Comedy Club. Right. In Legends,
right.
in Lake City.
That's right.
And that's where we met.
And we went to the radio station together. We did the radio
We did the radio thing, yes.
Right.
And did all the pop-ups. But the thing that blew my mind was, when you met me, you came up to me and said, "You're the man, dude. You're making stuff happen for people.
Well, you were.
The word's out there."
And you are now.
And, well, see, I didn't really understand that. I was just doing my thing, man.
Right.
But obviously the word was getting out about Mike Aloia and his Rockin' Comedy Crew.
Well, you were a humble dude. You were humble, and you didn't even realize what you were creating. You had gotten a lot of flack from a few people in the area. But overall, in the comedy world, you were somebody everybody liked to know, liked to talk to. like to meet because they heard about this Mike Aloia, the Rockin' Comedy Crew, all the shows you were doing around Florida, and you were getting a lot of shows from Pensacola all the way across the Panhandle, all the way down to Jacksonville. It was awesome.
Well, I tell you, Pete, and then we got with Dave Plummer with Cypress Records, Showcase of Talent.
Right.
He gave us the Rockin' Comedy Crew live on Comcast.
Right.
And I brought you in on that with Ed the Possum Man and all the Comedy Crew people.
Yes.
And it was going good, man.
Yes, it was. It was going great. It was absolutely going great. It was all good. Matter of fact, the one time that I hadn't wore a tuxedo in years until I met Mike.
Yeah, I
You
got
rented me a tuxedo and my dummy Justin a tuxedo.
I got Justin the dummy a tux. I love Justin.
And we
I don't
were
want to call
judges.
Justin a dummy.
No,
he's
no.
not. He's a puppet. And he's original. And he's part of you, man.
Right.
And you know, there's a lot of people that when they look at Justin and you on stage, man, people are really thinking that puppet's real.
Well, Justin told me that he's not really a puppet or a dummy. He's an actor in hiding.
An actor in hiding. There you go.
Right. He's getting ready to come out.
Well, I tell you,
With his
Pete,
new show, he maybe will come out a little bit more and be himself, you know?
you know, God brought us together, and you stuck with me through a lot, and we got separated there for a while. You went off into your own thing and traveling. A lot of people couldn't even get a hold of you.
Right.
But we always seemed to get back together.
Right.
And, you know, after the Rockin' Comedy Crew, during that time, with the TV show and all the rooms I was booking, we had the hotels, we had the limousines, we had money. Unfortunately, I had a broken heart. I was going through a divorce 20 years. I had a bad drug habit. The cocaine got the best of me, man. I started freebasing, ended up behind bars, spent 1.5 years behind bars, faced 15 years in jail, got out, and I was homeless. Lost everything. Lost the rooms, lost the TV show, lost my wife, lost my family, lost my house, lost it all. But you know what? I got Jesus, brother.
That's right.
And I asked Jesus, Lord, bring me the people I need and the army that I need in order to create a network that we can become a voice of faith and hope and love. And please, Lord, get me out of this, and this is what I'll do.
Right.
I didn't know what I was going to do.
Right, right,
And then I got involved with Touri Entertainment.
right.
Slowly with Rick again and Patricia Carmichael out of Nashville, William Herzog out of Pennsylvania. William had died now, Rick has died now, but you and I got together during Touri Entertainment. God put us together and put us on a road trip.
Yes, it is. Yes.
And the weird thing is we went to Wisconsin, to where you grew up. We went out there. I met your mama.
Yeah, you met my mama.
I met your mother, and I went to the place that is legendary and famous that you grew up by, which is the original Playboy Club in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin.
Right. I did grow up that area.
Now, didn't you used to sneak in there with your puppets when
Yes,
you were
I did.
like
I had
really young?
Yeah, I did shows for Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, Kiwanis clubs when I was a kid. And what I had done is I would sneak in there I drove my 10-speed bike over to the Playboy Club.
Wow.
And sneak over the fence and get in there and talk to Carlo, who became a friend of mine, Carlo Cicerello. And as I was growing up, he always let me come into all the shows and watch all the great entertainers like Phyllis Diller, George Kirby,
Wow.
Smothers Brothers, Frank Gorshin, John Biner, the Impressionist. John Biner, as a matter of fact, was a real good friend of mine, as well as Fred Willard from Ace Trucking Company. They both
Fred Willard, wow.
Every time they were in town, they would let me spend time with them, have lunch with them, hang out with them all day long. And I got to meet people like Phyllis Diller and a lot of other ones too, but I wasn't as friendly with them because I didn't really get to know them as well, but I got to meet them. I got to meet David Brenner, one of my favorite comedians growing up on Johnny Carson. And so it was a great time for me. It was always...
You met the legends and the greats, and
Right.
you were young, and you really didn't understand nothing.
No.
You were just growing up. You were getting into business. And you know what's
Carlo
beautiful?
would tell me, go sit in the back seat, go sit in the back of the room, here's a soda, be quiet, don't say nothing.
You know what?
Watch the show, yeah.
This picture right here is of the Playboy Club with Justin getting a kiss from the Playboy Bunny, okay?
Yeah.
That's Pete
That's
working the Playboy Club.
Bunny Hanna from St. Louis.
Bunny Hanna from St. Louis.
Yeah, I was the Playboy Club in St. Louis. Years later, I got to do the Playboy Club in St. Louis as well. I got to do that
Wow.
one 3 times, and I got to do the one in Los Angeles 1 time for 2 weeks in a row with Scully Mitchell, the TV producer and the comedian from Tattletales on TV. And some of those
You
great
know,
shows.
I hope Hugh Hefner is watching this episode, because I tell you what, the Playboy Club, man, I mean, what a legendary place for people to play, and for Pete Hefty to actually play in the Playboy Club.
Well, I was at the very tail end, literally, the tail end of the bunny, because there really wasn't many Playboy clubs left. I remember the one in Lake Geneva had already closed down. This was years later.
You know what was weird?
But it was still good.
When we went there, we went in a snowstorm.
But now it's called the Grand Geneva.
Grand Geneva.
Yep.
We went up there. Yep. It was in a snowstorm. They treated it. We told them who we are. We were with American Hearts Radio.
Right.
Or no, Touring Entertainment. American Hearts Radio wasn't even born yet.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Touring Entertainment. We were looking to book gigs, this and that at the Geneva. They took us up in the ski lift all the way up to the top. We were up there in the cabin, man. It was beautiful. They gave us the Golden King treatment, man.
Right.
They treated us like, we were rock stars.
Right. It was a snowstorm there.
Beautiful.
It was beautiful, though. It was a beautiful snowstorm.
Come to find out, I get on the phone and I call my dad to let him know that where we're at.
Right.
My dad, Dennis Aloia, and if it wasn't for him, this whole network wouldn't even have come together. I thank the Lord for him. And you can check out his web TV show, Keeping It Real, second Tuesday of every month at 7:15. There's a plug for you, Dad.
His dad's a great magician. A great magician.
Comedy magic. I've been in the entertainment business since I was 9 years old because of my father. Him and Uncle Kaz opened up Mr. C's Magic Lounge restaurant years ago in Chicago.
Chicago, yeah.
Now,
famous. Very famous.
I call my dad. I'm up here in the ski lodge, Lake Geneva, and I'm just digging it, man. And Dad tells me, "Wow, it's where me and your mom had our honeymoon."
Oh my goodness.
And
that's right. I remember that now. Oh,
it's
my
like,
goodness.
wow. So I felt mom, dude. It's like, whoa.
Wow.
And you know what? I got this letter right here, and I'd like to read it. And this is from Marcy Price, the managing director at the Playboy Club. It says, "Dear Peter, may I have this opportunity to thank you for a most successful week at the St. Louis Playboy Club. Your appearance, as well as that of your friend Justin, was a high point of the week of entertainment. Not only was your performance highly professional and entertaining, but we found that many of our guests returned several times during the week to see the show again. We are looking forward to your next engagement with us and highly recommend your show to our other Playboy clubs throughout the country." Dude, what an honor.
No, it was fun. It was fun.
I mean, come on. How much cooler can you get? Along with the Playboy Club's international standard form of artist engagement contract. This is an original Playboy contract, man.
From the day.
From the day, back in the Playboy Club with Peter Hefty. Pete, I mean, that's just a few of the many things that we're going to share during this interview. And this is the Peter Hefty tribute.
Oh,
American Hearts Radio is doing a tribute to Peter Hefty and Justin for working the road all these years, brother.
Oh, thank
and
you.
God brought us together, and now you're part of American Hearts Radio Entertainment Network. We've got big things getting ready to happen, man.
But I have to say, if you like the new Justin show, it's Mike's idea. Because I'll tell you what, the whole concept was dreamed up in this guy's imagination, who's got the greatest imagination in the world. He came up with this idea, Pete, let's do something like Jim Henson used to do with the Muppet Show. Let's have Justin have his own show, and you be out of it. And we've come up with a lot of funny ideas for him.
Great. We got Jimmy J's safety tips.
Yep.
We got your pirate, his tall fish stories. Plus, we also have other things here and there that are going to be thrown in segments. So it's a variety show. But the beauty is that once we started pitching this to people and asking people that if they want to be interviewed by Justin, the puppet, they love it.
Right.
And it's awesome.
Right. It's weird. If you say, you want a ventriloquist to interview you, they'd be like, no, that's too weird. But if you say a puppet, all of a sudden becomes
like
friendly to people, and they want to do it.
Well,
and they like Justin.
Everybody loves Justin. In fact, Bahama Square Llama just met him.
Yeah.
And gave him
He
a
was on the
square,
show.
so Justin's been enlightened.
And that was one of our funniest guests we've had yet.
Doors in Justin's mind are opening, baby.
And that I gotta tell you, that Square Llama guy,
Bahama Square Llama.
Bahama Square Llama, he reminds me of you. Are you related in any way to these guys?
No, not whatsoever.
Very
He's,
strange. This strange.
Yes,
He's a
some
funny
people.
character.
But namaste. We'll be right back. We're going to take a commercial.
Okay.
Oh, that slipped. I'm sorry. Anyway, here, you can do it with me.
Okay.
Namaste. Like this. You got to put your hands up in here like you're praying.
Okay.
All right. And it's namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. All right.
Namaste.
That's from Bahama Square Llama. And that's love. Right. We're giving love to the world.
Okay.
And we're trying to bring the hearts of the world together with this network. And I think
you're
we're
doing a
doing
good job. You're doing a good job.
We're
I tell you
doing
what, the quality on this network has gone way up, and the quantity too.
Well, we could not have done it alone. It's people like Bruce Shepard and his wife Sarah, and Batman of Jax,
yes,
and people
Batman.
like Santa Bob and Ed the Possum and Chris Massey with his music show, and Dan Glazer and Helen Carlisle and Pastor Carlisle, Vanessa Huntley,
yep.
and Joshua Farber, and all the other people like Mary Tolbert and Dawn
Jerry
Crosby
Farber's
and Jerry Farber, you know, and my father. There's just so many, man. We've got, you know, Professor Gravitron. We've got Edith Mohammed Bubba, the Redneck Muslim, which is a humanitarian news correspondent now. Right. Who would think?
Right. It is growing. It's
so,
great.
But I tell you, man, I thank God that, you know, when I was in jail, I told you when I was in jail, that's where I met Bruce Shepard.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, me and Bruce met in jail, and now, you know, when I first started the radio network, which you came on board with the Hefty, the Hefty Humor Hour with Justin, and you were on my radio show when I was a night owl.
Right.
Bruce was handling Fearless Friday, and yeah, it was weird, man, because, you know, we reached out, we connected, and then I went to Bruce's to give him some money for helping me, man, with the radio network. And, you know, I met with him, and he wasn't in real, he was in a bad place, man. It wasn't good. And God spoke to me and told me I need to get that boy out of there. I told Batman. I didn't want roommates, okay? Didn't ever want roommates, but something told me, okay? So I got him and Sarah out of that bad situation they were in their living conditions and all that. When he moved in, the day he moved in, my appendix ruptured the night before. I shouldn't even be here. Bruce even heard the doctor say I should be dead, okay, when I was on the phone with him. It's a miracle I'm here. I got there, it went into my kidneys, went into my liver. I had to do a couple surgeries, but Bruce handled the network. Come to find out, he was a developer with avatars and stuff. We took the web TV thing, we just had Dad's show going and keeping it real. And Bruce was checking it out, man. He says, man, let's take this to a whole different level. And so here we are.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Now, we're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back, everybody, because I got a lot of great stuff I want to share with everyone. I just want to say, you know, there's people come in your lives for certain reasons. Some will stay for a chapter, some are going to stay for a season, but God will choose the ones that will stay with you for the long haul and see the visions that you have. And you know what? There's strength in numbers, bro.
I know there is. I know there is.
And
you guys got it.
Well, you got it too. You're part of it, man. It wasn't for you, you know, it wouldn't be what it is today.
Thank you.
One for Bruce, one for Batman, one for everybody. It wasn't for you people out there supporting American Hearts Radio. All of our viewers and sponsors and people that are coming to us and saying, man, we're digging what you're doing. We'll be right back. My name's Mike Aloia. Check out this commercial. Yes, call me. Bad Company. Yes. Check out our new app on American Hearts Radio. Yes, it is really cool, man. You can listen to some rock and roll and some Motown. Yes, it is the Novex app, free on AmericanHeartsRadio.com. It's really easy to use. You go to the website, www.AmericanHeartsRadio, and then you'll see our app. It says for the Android or the iPhone. Just download that for free. And you can listen to all the music on American Hearts Radio. Also, you can watch our web television shows. This is Enos Mohammed Baba, the Redneck Muslim. See you later. Bad company, I can't deny. Bad company, today I die.
This here's Jimmy J for the safety tip of the week. And I'm ready to show you something that you all know that happens around your house. You use a frying pan to cook, don't you? Well, this frying pan just came off the stove. Now when it just comes off the stove like that, you never should put your head in it like this. Safety tip, don't do it.
Welcome back, everybody. Now about down to half of my cup of coffee here.
You're doing
I
good.
might have to go get another cup of coffee after the next commercial break. I just want to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in and watching this interview, because this is something special. Pete Hefty has worked the road for, what, about 40 years, 45 years?
Well, if you count my days as a street performer in California, yeah, about 40 years.
That's amazing. And just name some of the wonderful people and rock bands that you've opened up for. I know you told me about one person I'd like to tell you before we get here.
Oh, you want to share that? Okay.
Tiny Tim.
Tiny Tim? Oh, Tiny
You
Tim.
told me you met Tiny Tim.
Yeah, I actually didn't work with Tiny Tim, but I got to see Tiny Tim. I was in Galveston, Texas. I went out there and I was working some little clubs out there. And I had heard Tiny Tim was at this supper club in Galveston. So I went there, saw him, met him, got to hang out with him. He liked me and my buddy really well. He liked me and my buddy Jimmy Miller. And he thought we were both really funny guys. And we talked him into going to Gillies with us. So we took him to Gillies nightclub in a truck, drove Tiny Tim to Gillies, and he got up on stage at Gillies and actually did a little show, a little tester show.
Did you have a ukulele?
He didn't do that part. He did. He used to do an Elvis thing. He used to do a lot of other stuff people don't know. Tiny Tim had many voices. He didn't just do the tiptoe through the tulips. He didn't just do that. He did a lot of baritone singing too. It was really good.
Well, I think you had mentioned to me that it kind of freaked you out a little bit when he actually started talking, because you wasn't expecting, because he was more of a deeper tone, right?
Right. What happened was some lady came up to ask for his autograph when we were at the table with him, and he's like, oh, thank you, and he's going like this, and she walks away, and he goes, now, as I was telling you guys, here's what you got to do in show business.
You need a gimmick.
You need a gimmick.
You need a gimmick by Tiny Tim. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I know you got a lot of great memories in that crazy mind of yours.
Oh, yeah.
And as well as myself.
Oh, yeah.
But I've met a lot of famous people in my life, and I've had the honor of working with a lot of famous rock groups and a lot of great comedians, and there's a lot of wonderful, famous people that comes through the network and supports our network.
Right.
I'm very humbled, man. I mean, but this woman right here, I bet your heart started thumping when you met Melissa Manchester.
Oh, yeah. Melissa Manchester, I got to open for her at the Sunrise Musical Theater in Fort Lauderdale, Florida many years ago.
Wow.
Had a great time working with her.
Beautiful.
She was awesome. But a lot of my comedian friends over the years that I bumped into, like Ken Evans and a few other guys who were in the business, they also got the chance to work with Melissa. So she was one of those positive musicians who liked having comedians from all over the country open up for her. So that was really nice of her, you know.
And also, what's this guy's name again?
That's Willie Tyler.
Willie Tyler and Lester from Laugh-In.
Right.
That's Pete Hefty when he was 17 years old. Give us a little bit of story about this photo here.
Well, that was at the Playboy Club in Lake Geneva. Remember, I
Wow.
told you I got to meet all those neat people there because
That's
of Carlos
awesome.
Cicerello. Well, Carl told me, guess what? We have a ventriloquist this week, Pete. You better come out here. So I did. And, of course, it was Willie Tyler and Lester. And Willie Tyler and Lester were awesome. I was just, like, blown away that they were there. And I took a couple little pictures with my little Polaroid camera. That's the Polaroid camera blowing up after all those years. I'm surprised it didn't crack. But
You know, you have
Good.
kept a lot of memorabilia over the years, you know, and I think that's just wonderful. You actually got your own little museum in your bag. It's life in a bag with Peter Hefty. But you know what? You're like me. You hold on to those memories. You hold on to every little token of something that you can, you know, show your kids and show what you've done, and you know, because you haven't really filmed a lot.
No.
Over the years.
No, and the thing is, I was only in one movie in my life, and that was called Last Plane Out with Jan Michael Vincent, and my part was only 5 seconds long. The rest got edited out. But
You were also in a book.
in a book called I Killed, True Stories of the Road from America's Top Comics.
Wow.
Rich Scheidner and
Rich
Mark
Scheidner, he's been on our show,
Yeah.
Comics on Parole with
Yeah.
Dan Glazer.
Yep, and he wrote the book, and he did a great job. There's 200
Wow.
comedians in the book. I was one of the lucky ones to get
Rich
in
is a
there.
great guy. Me and him's
Great.
talked several times. Hopefully, maybe this year we can get something going out in L.A. with him.
He's
In
awesome.
Hollywood. I know he's working with HBO right now behind the scenes, and he was on Married with Children. He was in the movie Roxanne, and
He wrote for the Jeff Foxworthy show also.
oh, is that right?
Yes, he
I
did.
didn't know
Matter
that.
of fact, that was one of the bits that was from my story that they wanted to use with Larry the Cable Guy, but they didn't want, I wasn't famous enough, so they used a famous ventriloquist. I won't name his name. He's already famous enough. No, actually, it's Jeff Dunham.
You're famous to me, Pete.
Yeah, well, thank you, sir.
You are.
But they used Jeff, but it was the skit that was based on something that actually had happened to me. So, as a way to say, hey, Pete, we're going to pay you back for it. We're going to give you a spot in the book. I was so thankful. I was excited. I think I bought more copies of that book than anybody. Let me say.
That's wonderful. Now this here, you said you had mentioned Fort Lauderdale. You used to do a lot of stuff back in the day in Fort Lauderdale.
Yep, that's where I started.
And I've got this with a band called Woodrose you were opening up for, and this is Peter Michaels and Justin. So you changed your name there for a while.
Well, my name used to be, my name is Peter Michael Hefty, but I used Peter Michaels back then because my wife thought Michaels sounded more show busy. So
Really?
I listened to her back then, and I think she was right for that time. It worked out real well. So I was Peter, Michael, and Justin in Fort Lauderdale, and I still will meet people to this day in Fort Lauderdale if I go
They'll
down
remember
there,
you as
Peter,
Michaels.
Michael, and Justin. Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's that's just really cool that
Friends
you
Night
save
Club.
that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah, I worked there for 5 years. Every Sunday night I ran their talent night, and it was
Really?
the hottest spot in town. We got written up in the Miami Herald, Fort Lauderdale News, West Palm Beach Post. They all wrote about us because it was the place to be on Sunday night. And the reason wasn't just me. It was I'm just a host. I was just a host. I was very lucky to be surrounded by some of the best talent coming through Fort Lauderdale back then. Musicians, comedians, just poets, just all kinds of great people. And it was just an interesting night of entertainment,
I tell you, I love the entertainment business, but you got one up on me, brother, because I have never in my life seen a bill where you're working at the One Cow
Chicago
Celebrity Showcase, and it's like a menu here, a celebrity spotlight, and it's a menu. Who's who?
I always kept that one because that was from
That's
1976.
pretty cool. 1976.
That's before I moved to Florida. That was my.
That's wild.
I was a
That's
street
beautiful.
performer in Chicago then. I was doing street performing.
That's where I grew
Rush
up,
Street.
man. Hometown. My father was a Chicago police officer.
Well, a magician walked up to me one day and he said, "Listen, I can get you 2 shows this next couple weeks. How would you like to do them?" And I said, "I would love it." And he saw me on the street performing. He had me come to his apartment, meet his wife. Very nice guy. He got me a show that the first show I totally bombed. It was the worst show of my life. Nobody was listening to me. There was no spotlight.
It happens.
And it was at a place called Faces, and I was so embarrassed. I ran out the back door. I think I had tears in my eyes. I was young. I was really young. So I ran down the alley, and I felt depressed. And then he got a hold of me a couple days later and said, "Hey, I got another showcase for you." And I was scared.
Puppet with you.
I was so scared. I go,
depressed.
"Oh, I can't." I told him what happened. He goes, "I promise you that won't happen at this one. I'll be there. We'll make sure it's great." And it was the first class showcase put on by some of the radio station DJs in Chicago back then. Eddie
Great.
Hubbard and a lot of famous people back then.
That's awesome,
was
man.
great.
That's
At
awesome.
One Cow Chinese restaurant. Wow, it was great. It was packed.
You're on the Chinese menu, baby.
Yeah, it was great. I was thrilled. That was when Justin got stolen.
Is this where Justin got sold? Now, Miami Herald.
Yeah.
Okay, this is where. So now, who's the dummy? It says here. Okay, wooden mate snatched. This is where somebody stole Justin, the original Justin.
Yeah, the original Justin.
Original Justin's gone, and you still never retrieved him.
Never retrieved him. We had a $500 reward for him.
Wow!
A lot of my friends
Buffett.
from the club were donating money, and we got up to got over to $1,000 I think at one time, but nobody ever came forward.
You know what?
And-
if anybody's got the original Justin out there, please contact AmericanHeartsRadio.com.
Right.
Give us a call, 904-229-8150. Send me an email, ahradiolllc@hotmail.com. It would be an awesome thing to find the original Justin, man.
Original Justin.
And it says here that, so now who's the dummy? It says Peter Michael put his best friend Justin's red, white, and blue duffel bag and crammed the bag behind the seat of his Jeep early Monday. Someone stole the bag with Peter's little bearded buddy inside.
Yeah. It actually was. It was one of those things that just happened, and I went to see my friend.
Now the police are looking for a 15-pound, 3-foot-tall wooden plastic hippie wearing a New York Yankees jacket, who opens his mouth only when his string is pulled. It means I'll be out of work for a while, said Peter Michael, a popular Fort Lauderdale ventriloquist for the last 3 years. Justin was my main thing. Now, Now, how I make a living? How do I do it? You didn't know. You were devastated.
Well, actually, I got into stand-up. I was doing stand-up already, but my friends, and I got a couple good reviews saying he's funny with or without the puppet, but that's not true because I have another review.
Justin wasn't insured.
Where this guy told me, Mike,
He's not insured.
that I wasn't funny without the dummies. So I always kept this one. That the dummy was my main thing.
You do great stuff, man. You are funny. You're a great comedian. You do great. Mike Petrucas Michael's good with the dummy.
Yeah, he says what. This one was funny because he says, "What would the captain be without Tennille, Laura without Hardy, or Abbott without Costello? Nowhere." And that was the case Saturday evening.
When Peter Hefty, Justin's gone. But you know what? The new Justin, you reinvented him.
Yeah, he's cool.
And you pretty much based him on what the original Justin looked like, right?
Absolutely. And then he's been, and this is you and me and Possum Man when we were at the...
Wow, this was at the...
surprise you on that one.
This was at the Hard Rock Cafe in Orlando.
Yeah.
I booked Shantytown and Footville Train. We were working for Tory Entertainment, and I had you on stage, and there's Ed the Possum Man with Peter Hefty and Justin and me.
Yeah.
And, Hard Rock Cafe, man. That was a beautiful gig.
Yeah.
So we did the Hard Rock, baby.
Yes, we did, yeah. That was my second one. The second time I got a chance to do that.
You know what? I forgot about this picture, Pete.
Yeah.
That brings back a lot of memories.
Yeah, we had fun.
We sure did.
That was an old club in Chicago I used to work.
Comedy Rangers.
Well, it was called the Who's on First Club in Elmhurst. I used to work there. My friend Ted Mulder was still in that one. And
well, here's an old picture. What's this one?
That was Fort Lauderdale. That was me in Fort Lauderdale back in the day.
Okay, and then it's got behind it, it's got Las Vegas All-Star Review.
That's recent. That was at the Villages retirement area, as you know, in Florida. A very famous retirement area. And it was a great show. It had a magician, a juggler, ventriloquist, and a comedian.
Great variety show, man.
Really good show.
The Savannah Center.
And that was booked by Robbie Vinton. Robbie Goldsboro. Bobby Goldsboro's son.
Who's Bobby Goldsboro?
The famous singer.
Oh, Goldsboro or Vinton?
Bobby Goldsboro, I think it is.
I don't know.
Wait, I bet you he would find it out for me.
Anyway.
I think I had that. I hope I had that right. If I didn't, I apologize.
You did the Hard Rock as well, the other Hard Rock.
Yeah,
you
this
did the
one
casino
I did.
in Tampa.
The one in
There's
Tampa.
Pete right there at the casino Hard Rock Cafe, and you packed the house there.
Yeah, that one we actually sold out to where they had 200 seats in the room, and they took the tables
awesome.
out and put 200 more chairs. We had 400 people that night.
Holy
So
crap.
it was a really good night. And what I did was, I did something the agent didn't even know. I brought a lot of my comedian friends. I'm like you, Mike. I like to help other guys out, give them a shot at the spotlight.
Brother.
And I had about 5 comedians, and one of them passed away since, old Joey Stanton. And Joey was an awesome comedian. He was like 80-some years old. And he wanted to be on stage at the Hard Rock so bad, but the agent wouldn't book him there. So I said, Joey, you're my special guest. So I snuck him on stage.
That's great, dude.
He came out with his tuxedo, and he killed. And people came
old.
up to him afterwards, and they were loving him and giving him pats on the back. And it was.
God bless you, bro.
Well, you got to. You got to help these guys.
We got to remember those guys that have passed on that we worked for. You know, their lives have been cut short.
Yeah.
Aaron Tucker, one of my original rock and comedy crew, mates, he's gone. Damian Cook, psycho comic. You remember Damian?
Yes.
He was hit by a car in the middle of the street, hit and run. You never know when your number's up.
That's right.
God has allowed us to live a lot.
Right.
Through a lot. I mean, I've defied death a couple times. I've been in accidents. I've had to have emergency surgery.
Well, I was supposed to be on a plane with Ricky Nelson years ago.
That's right. Yeah. You were supposed to be on a plane with Ricky Nelson.
Right.
Come on.
I was working with
Ricky
Loretta
Nelson
Lynn.
died on that flight.
Right. Loretta Lynn. I had opened for Loretta Lynn at Jerry Vitale booked me at the Premier Center in Detroit.
Wow.
In Sterling Heights, Michigan, actually. And I got back down to Alabama to do New Year's Eve show, and they said, well, you know what? We got a possibility. You can fly out with Ricky Nelson. You can, come back up here with Ricky to do this show you're going to do with Ricky. So they were contacting the people, but for some reason, my wife felt like, well, why don't you just wait? We'll just drive up there. I want to go too. She wanted to go see Ricky Nelson, which I don't blame her. Ricky Nelson.
So it was your wife's choice to drive.
Because she wanted to be Ricky Nelson too. And they only had room. They would.
Isn't it
one
weird
person.
how just one little decision,
right,
can and the choices that we make and the people in our lives at that time. If she wouldn't have said that.
I don't know. I don't know what would happen. You don't know if you would have been on that plane that tonight or another night or the future. You don't know.
You never know. And I thank God for every moment we're together. I thank God for the things that we're doing with American Hearts Radio Entertainment Network. We're working with the American Legions, with a Voice for the Children, raising money for families that have medical needs with their children and they can't hardly work. You know, we're spotlighting the Shriners Children's Hospital. That was awesome that we went and did with BU, Batman, and Possum.
I want to go back.
We're definitely going to go back.
Yep.
You know, we spotlight our veterans, our military communities, our veteran memorials. You know, we've got so many wonderful things, and we just did the Jimmy Van Zandt benefit show. You know, Donnie and Johnny are I thank God for those guys. They've kept me working. They've endorsed the network. And for us to give back and go out there and raise some money for Jimmy Van Zandt to help him with his liver cancer, you know, what a blessing for God to use us. And we're going to talk more about that here as we're going to take another commercial break. How God is using us and using this network to make a difference in this world and give hope and love and compassion and bring the hearts of the world together through entertainment. The world needs to be entertained, baby.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
And I'll let you say we'll be right back after this commercial break.
We'll be right back after this commercial message on American Hearts Radio and Web TV.
Rock and roll.
I am Charlie with Full Throttle Magazine, and you're watching American Hearts Radio Web TV. Rock on!
Woo! This here's Jenny J on the Justin and Friends show, Almost Real. Listen, folks, I got another safety tip. I guess you could call it safety tip number 3. Right here we got a beautiful Dirt Devil Swivel Glide MVT vacuum cleaner. These are good when you want to clean up your dirty house, or your dirty trailer. I tell you what you gotta do though. You gotta be careful with these things. Because, say for example, if I took my hand and stuck it right there, like that, right there, see? And then I had a friend of mine turn on the vacuum cleaner, my hand might get...
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Me and Pete have had such a great time reminiscing about a lot of things. And I want to get back to that Ricky Nelson thing because, you know, we're all human beings and we feel, you know, when tragedies happen. And I know that came to you as a shock. And, you know, because you thought you were getting ready to open up for him.
Right. I was working at the Holiday Inn in Dothan, Alabama on New Year's Eve. And when I found out that information, I found out from a comedian friend of mine, a magician. I'm sorry, not a magician, a juggler. I'm sorry, jugglers. I don't want to give you not any credit. You guys are great too. He's a great juggler and a great Frisbee champion, Greg Hosfield. And Greg came up to me and said, give me your introduction. So I told him my introduction. He's open for this one, this one, this one. And very soon he'll be opening up for Ricky Nelson. Greg came up to me and said, you can't say that because Ricky was in an accident tonight. His plane went down. Wow. And I freaked out. I says, what are you talking about, Greg? That's not funny. Don't make a joke like that. I thought Greg was making a joke. And then I ran upstairs to the hotel room. My wife and I watched the TV. We checked at every channel. There was nothing on TV. So I called the news station in town. And then they affirmed what, you know, Greg had said. And I knew right then, you know, that wasn't going to happen. And I was just in the saddest mood that night during my show, you know.
You know, and that's the crazy thing because, you know, a lot of people's lives are cut short. And we just got back from Land O'Lakes over at Ed the Possum Man's house. And we just filmed an episode with Ed the Possum Man and his history with Mitch Hedberg. Right. And, you know, Possum was in Mitch's posse with MTV. We've got some exclusive footage that we're going to be showing on this episode of Justin and Friends Almost Real with Ed that's never been seen before on MTV, which I'm very excited about that. And we're also in talks about going up and seeing Mitch Hedberg's father, Artie, which is still alive.
Arnie, yeah.
Yeah, Arnie. So up in Minnesota. and you know, God brings people together at certain times for certain reasons. And Mitch Hedberg was there, man. He was on top of the world. He was a famous person. He had it. It was going on, and he helped his little brother, Ed, and brought him up, was bringing him up the ladder. And then when Mitch died of a heroin overdose, it devastated Ed.
Of course.
It took him into a whole different world, man, and he, it wasn't the same no more.
Right.
So people deal with tragedies in so many different ways. Lord knows I've had my tragedies. I've lost my mother. I've had a lot of tragedies in my own personal life. Lost a lot of wonderful people in the entertainment world, people very close to me. And that's why I want to also say, I'm so thankful and grateful for the people that are in my life right now and people that are part of this network. Right. I'm grateful for people like Jackie Knight. Out at Jackie Knight's Comedy Club.
St. Augustine.
She's like a mom to me. She gives so many comedians a break. She gave me a break back in the day with the comedy crew, and I love going out to Jackie Knight's Comedy Club in St. Augustine.
Mike, you got to interview her sometime because she has a collection. She used to hang out with
Wolfman Jack. We got to get Justin to interview her for Justin's
Jimmy
show.
Jimmy Durante.
Yeah,
her
she
dad
goes
was
way back.
She was around show business all her life.
She throws out pictures of her, Wolfman Jack, Sammy Day, all these other beautiful, famous
Tony
people.
Bennett.
Tony Bennett. Yeah, we got to get Justin to do an interview with Jackie Knight for his show. That would be perfect.
If you're watching, Jackie,
and another person I want Justin to interview is Daryl Rhodes. Daryl Rhodes, what a great performer, worked with major legends. He's a legend in his own right, with music and comedy. He has stuck with our network and helped me bring this network to what it is. Daryl's the one that brought in our first sponsors for the Rhodes All Over the Map show. And we still play Daryl's shows at noon every day, Monday through Friday. We've got a great archives, and Daryl's shows are 3 hours long. They're very entertaining, and I still love listening to them. Wow. We've got a lot of great personalities from around the world. Ralphie's Music Show from Australia. We've got Victoria Redstall with relationship programs out of California. We've got, so many. We got Will Roberts, man, from Hollywood. We've got Brian T. Shirley. We run his show, BTS on the Road and BTS Radio Show.
And Mike, a little birdie told me the other day you may have a talent agent show.
We've got Pete DiLorenzo.
No, but
I mean, come on, with Direction of the Heart.
Right.
Pete's, his mentor was Joe Franklin.
Wow.
I mean, come on, Joe Franklin. You and Pete talk quite a bit, and we got you and his show going to be going on because I want you and him to bounce off each other of all the different peoples and places that you guys have been. Now he's an ambassador for the United Nations for humanitarian, which now we're part of.
Very cool.
God is putting me in a position to be a global humanitarian speaker at the Global Humanitarian Summit in March in Atlanta. I'm so honored. When he gets your butt there, Pete DiLorenzo's going to be there. We got people, Richard Nelson's supposed to be there from Canada. He's got the AgriPod technology, which is going to revolutionize the world and create where there's going to be no more hunger, man, with our food source. And there's just so many wonderful things that God is placing us in these positions now to actually, make a difference and work with the makers and shakers of the world. I mean, how much cooler can you get? God has brought us there. I mean, where we were, Pete, and where we've been has all been basic training for what God has in store for us, bro.
Right. I believe you, brother.
And
I believe it. I believe that.
This Justin and Friends Almost Real show is going to be a hit. I already feel it. I had the dream, the vision. It was haunting me. It's kind of scary when you got Justin in your dream saying, I want my own show. I want my own show. I'm almost real.
Mike doesn't know. I put a tape recorder under his bed. He didn't know.
Here's a great shot of you and Justin. What is this?
That's me from when I was 15 years old.
15 years old.
That was that was Darren actually. Just before Justin.
Darren was the original before Justin.
Yeah, Darren.
Wow.
After Darren became then Justin.
Well, Darren, we still got that $500 reward out for you, buddy.
Yeah.
And also, Pete.
That was a casino I worked with up in Iowa.
Before we get any further, one other person I do want to say thank you to.
Who's that?
And that's Al Burrows, my production engineer up in Atlanta. He's a sound engineer for the SOS band. He's the pioneer and got me started with the web TV thing. I got on Mimi Johnson's show. She had the arts reporter. I went to Atlanta, got on her show, met with Al, and it really clicked, man. And that's where the web TV thing, me and Dad were there, and me and my father, I said, Dad, we got to get this going. I want to give you your own show, Dad. We got to get out there. This is something new. This is a pioneering, revolutionary thing out there. Is web television, And boy, did I ever imagine that it would go from keeping it real to Comics on Parole to Professor Gravitron, you know, in the Nut House, which that character is really out of this world, you know, to just everything that we're doing, man. This web TV thing is taking off. It's because it's the new medium. Everything's mobile. Everything, all the crap that's on regular network television isn't original. We're original.
That's what I like about it.
And we're using the people in the circuit. It's built by the people for the people to bring the hearts of the world together and to make people's dreams come true.
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true.
I couldn't have done this without you.
No, you couldn't have done it without anybody. But
Without
you know what,
that's
Mike?
right.
That's what the thing is. This is like, you understand that because you're not just a comedian. And Mike is a good comedian, by the way. He just doesn't push that side of him. Although he does on TV, on web TV, you can catch him on quite a few of the characters. He's got something to do with their being there. And I got to tell you, he's more of a producer, an imaginative, creative guy like Walt Disney. I tell you, he's always got ideas, and always got great thoughts for what we could do next. And every time one of the entertainers is down or not feeling like, well, I don't know if this is working out or that's not working out, Mike will give us his famous pep talk. And you never know how the pep talk's going to be, but I'll tell you what, every time he gives you one, you want to come back and work for this guy, work with him. Now, either your dad taught you hypnosis as a child, and I don't know it, and I'm being hypnotized, or I just like to work with you, man.
No, Dad told me I had a lucky horseshoe in my ass, and I didn't know it.
Okay.
Because things happen for me, man. You know, some people are. I don't consider it luck. I consider it
A blessing. Blessing.
Well, I believe God gives you talents.
Right.
You're born with God-given talents. You're
Right.
born with passion. You're born with creativity. I'm an artist. I write Walk the Turtle column. You know, that gives me a lot of, I love doing that every Sunday. It's with no strings attached entertainment news. And What's the Story picked it up. You know, hopefully I'll be a
By the way, Justin
columnist.
told me to tell you on the no strings attached, he wants nothing to do with that.
That's where your press release is going. But, you know, I draw cartoons. I've drew cartoons all my whole life. You know, I've done voices my whole life. I've got old 8mm movies where that my dad had put on DVD where, you know, I was producing movies with my dad's 8mm camera when I was a kid, about probably 7 years old, with my friends in the neighborhood, and I did a little war movie and I did a little monster movie. And, you know, I've got that preserved. So I was born to be a producer. You know, I was born for film. I was born to, it's just in my blood, in my DNA. My father's an entertainer. You know, him and Uncle Kaz, they started the Mr. C's Magic Lounge. So I was, you know, put in that whole thing, just like you know. You knew when you were young and you were a kid, this is what you wanted to do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You
Definitely.
knew that God created you to be a ventriloquist and to make people smile and happy.
That's what I definitely loved. And I tell you what, I want you to know that Mike is saying all this so that if there's any of you people out having a film festival,
Follow your
give us a
passions,
call.
man.
If you have a film festival, if you want to put your film on hey, maybe they can put their
Well,
film
yeah,
on
we're
your
looking for
show.
great independent artists. We are family friendly, so, you know, I ain't into all the F-bombs and stuff, okay?
No.
There's enough negativity in this world.
Right.
We create positive energy, positive programming. We embrace positivity, okay? Because I'm going to be a speaker for the Global Humanitarian Summit in Atlanta, and I thank Debbie Ellison for that opportunity, for putting us out there. I thank Dave Lebecki for creating the Humanitarians Unite. I thank Dr. Neil Schulman, who wrote Doc Hollywood. He does a lot of humanitarian work, man. That guy's great. He's been supportive of our network since the beginning. He's been on a lot of our shows.
Wow.
And I know there's a lot of people that you thank in the business. So go ahead and, I know Eric Olson.
Well, Eric
You know,
Olson,
there's a
Kid
lot of great
Olson.
people in your life. You
Eric used to be my opening act, and now he's boomed as a magician. And he has a great place down in Orlando. If you ever go down there, it's Sur Lago Hotel, called Wizards, every Monday night.
Beautiful.
Magic. Magicians from all over the world stop into his place. It's been going on for 6 years, and I'm so proud of Eric and Kim. They do a great job, and they're a great team. Not just a husband-wife comedy magic team. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Kim's a great businesswoman, And Eric is a great performer, so she's got him on a plane every week going somewhere.
Well, I tell you, there's somebody else that's very famous that you worked with, and we were talking about this on the porch earlier, and that's Jay Leno.
Yeah,
Give us
Jay.
a little scoop about you and Jay.
Well, I met Jay at the Comedy Store when I was an entertainer. When I was in Hollywood back in the day, in the 70s, I was a performer on the streets of Hollywood.
He used to call you Hefty Bag.
He used to call me. Well, he called me Hefty Bags later. But yeah, he didn't call me Hefty. But he liked to pull jokes. Jay
Leno used to pull pranks.
Joe used to pull pranks. So he pulled a prank on me one time at the Comedy Store. But I got to tell you this: years later, I got to book him in Boca Raton, Florida. He was opening for Ann Margaret.
You got to book Jay Leno.
Yeah, I call him up. I go,
imagine?
and he's like, "Yeah, get me out of here." And so, Jay, okay. So I go down, pick up Jay from the Diplomat Hotel.
You did it again, man.
Yeah, get me out of here. I gotta get out of here.
So we get a jump. And we jump in the car, we go up to Boca. He did a great job, as always, because Jay was one of the funniest comedians working back then. He was a workaholic.
Oh, my God. And
So,
they just did
hilarious.
the tribute to him,
Oh,
Mark Twain.
I saw it.
That was beautiful.
I saw it, and he was hilarious. And and Jay's always been hilarious. One of my favorites back then, especially when he was working the road. He was such a road dog. He was such he really strived to be a perfectionist.
He paid his dues.
He paid his dues. And on the ride back, he asked me why I didn't move back to Hollywood. And I told him I was married now. I like Fort Lauderdale. And he said, there's nothing wrong with being a big fish in a little pond. Of course, he didn't say it that way. He said,
There's nothing wrong with being a little fish in a big pond.
so I did. I got to be, I stayed in Fort Lauderdale. And he went back to Hollywood, of course, and became the Jay Leno we all knew and
That's
loved.
unbelievable.
But I got to open for him a couple of more times. I got to open for him at Thunderbirds at, in Jacksonville for 6 shows one time. I got to be backstage with him in Atlantic City one time, talking to him. But I haven't seen him in a lot of years. But I do know one thing.
Well, I tell you, if Jay's watching,
If I
what
had
would
a
you
car.
say to Jay right now? I need a car.
I need a car. You need somebody to wash your cars, Jay? I'll
Somebody
go.
wash your cars? We'll be right there with you, man, with Batman.
Right.
We'll bring the Cape Crusader home to water
bring the
us.
washer.
All right, guys, start scrubbing.
He's probably got like the most professional washers you've ever seen.
Here's Jay Leno. He's on the phone. You're talking to him, and he's telling you to come on over, bring your crew to wash cars. Give us the impression.
Yeah, come on over, Hefty Bag. You guys can wash cars and sweep up the place a little bit.
That's great. I love you, man. Jay, we love you too, baby.
Yeah, Jay,
and we're
that's
going to
funny,
get this to your people, okay? Because we love you. Plus, we're trying to plug the Waffle House. Hopefully, it'll become a sponsor.
Oh, yeah.
You got to turn it around. Love the Waffle House.
Gotta love the Waffle House.
Lord knows I've ate a lot of great breakfasts there, working the road over the years, and it's still one of my favorite places to go. New entertainment. Comedian Peter Hefty wears this in the Dubuque Greyhound Park Casino.
Yeah, that was a while back.
So you're working with martial arts people.
Well, they had a martial arts
Boxing?
show coming up, boxing, but that was the comedy show.
Okay, they
But
were
had
going
all
to knock
kinds
you guys out,
No,
were they?
no. We tried to knock out the crowd. But we had a good show there.
That's great.
That was fun, and this one was fun recently. This was at the Ice Festival a couple
Oh, wow.
of years ago in Colorado, and that was fun because they had an ice sculpture contest downtown. I got to go around and look
Wow.
at all the ice sculptures, and they had some of the characters from Comedy Central. The famous guys, Cartman and all them.
Oh, yeah.
They had some guy had ice sculptured all those characters.
So you had a hypnosis guy here, the improv troupe, and a magician, and
a
you.
ventrilo- Right. On different nights for the festival. 4 days.
the Butte Theater.
4 days, but it was way up. It was like, it was in the Thin
awesome.
Air Productions put that on, Thin Air, because it's so far up. It's like thousands and thousands of feet above sea level. And he said, they were worried about me because, doing ventriloquism and doing stuff, you got to be very careful and you have to drink a lot of water. But I got through it. But I did feel it in my bones and stuff. You get winded real quick up there. You got to get used to it.
Yeah, I kind of like Florida. So,
Yeah, I just did.
it's really tropical. I'm digging it. There ain't no snow. I've had opportunities to move up north, to go to Atlanta and stuff like that, which probably I'll have a place in Atlanta eventually. We've got our studio up there and all that, but my home's in Florida, man. I mean, you can't beat the tropics. We got to dodge a few hurricanes every once in a while and some flooding, but other than that, it's pretty good. Pretty good place to stay, I must say, and especially working with Donnie and Johnny Van Zant, Leonard Skinner and 38 Specials guys are legends, man. They've kept me working my whole life. And
They're good people.
they're wonderful people, man.
Good.
Just wonderful. I'm so blessed. Whenever I need, there's been times I've been down and out, man. Johnny said, "Come on, Mike, I got some work for you." Helps give you a hand up, man. And I'm taking you over there with me. You met Johnny. He told me to tell you hello, and he's looking forward to seeing you again.
All right.
So we'll be going over there, and Justin will be talking to him. So that's going to be really cool. Now you've got bar. What is that called here? Bar what?
Ask Bruce. Bruce could tell you.
What's that Roman numeral?
9.
Bar 9. Comedy night at Bar 9 with Ted Holcomb and Peter Hefty. Now, Ted Holcomb...
He was on Johnny Carson. We got to have
Really?
I'll have him as a guest.
Yes, absolutely.
When we go back to Cocoa Beach,
Ted Holcomb is a native from Chicago.
Yes.
I've heard his name. I remember his name.
Yep.
And Ted has also been a featured comedian on national TV shows, the Johnny Carson, Phil Donahue, the Phyllis Diller, and Robert Klein featured on Showtime. I mean, and you're really close friends with Ted.
Yeah. Ted's open for the Beach Boys. He's open for Ray Charles, the late Ray Charles. He's had a great career.
That's awesome,
He
man.
works cruise ships, and I got Ted a gig not too many years ago through a friend of mine, Danny, in Mexico, and he's been doing that gig several months out of the year every year. Danny Doyle, yeah. And Danny Doyle runs a bunch of shows down in the Riviera Maya. He's a really good entertainer. He's a hypnotist and a producer. Puts shows together. D&D Entertainment. He probably wouldn't like me plugging it, but I'm going to plug it anyways. D&D Entertainment.
Well, I also want you to plug that you're going to be at Rusty's right here down the street off 103rd on New Year's Eve.
Yes, I will be at Rusty's.
And that'll be the second New Year's Eve gig we did over there.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm excited about it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's just so cool how the Lord has brought us together.
Yep.
It's all about timing. Donnie Van Zant's always told me that my whole life, Mike, it's all about timing.
Timing.
Okay, and everything, and it's so true because
the right place, the right time.
All the elements have to come together.
Right.
At certain times.
Right.
And it's all life in the years that go by we learn so many things, man, and we become better people.
Well, we were in this studio. You and I were in this studio like 4 to 5 years ago when it was just a radio station.
When we were just starting off, yeah.
It was just a radio station then, and I did a couple radio shows for you, and I loved it. It was so much fun.
Oh, it was great, man.
And it was about this time of the year, too. But now here we are, years later, American Hearts Radio and Web TV. The best of the best is yet to come on this station.
Like I said, there's 20 million internet radio stations out there. But there's only one.
Woo-wee! Hey everyone, this is Jimmy J with a safety tip of the week. When you're using a toilet plunger, you should never take it and stick your head in it like this. Whoa! Man, that don't smell right. Something's wrong with that right there. Woo! I'm sick.
Worldwide broadcasts, and we produce live events. And we also give back, and we also offer people a way to make their dreams come true, their passions, by buying into the network and having their own show, and becoming a sponsor, and learning a way to create revenue for themselves with a network working with them. And we make it affordable, so the everyday Joe can be part of something huge worldwide.
I'll tell you, my uncle had karate schools still. My uncle was a karate school guy for many, many years, had many schools, my Uncle Bill, that got me into comedy. And he's a karate guy. He's in the who's who of karate and all that, Bill Wassman. He would have a show on here. He'd have a karate show on here.
Oh, that would be great, man.
A karate show, exercise program.
You should have a karate puppet.
That's an idea. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to talk to my Uncle Bill about doing something on this show.
Hey, man.
He's still got one school left, and he likes it. All his other schools, he's kind of let him go to some of his former students. And he's just more laid back, more semi-retired, but not retired. He still loves to do karate. Likes to get up every morning and do all that stuff.
Out of everything that's been happening in the network and the blessings that God has put forth to us and the things that are being dropped in our lap and the people that are calling us and the people of the caliber of people we're dealing with worldwide is phenomenal. You know, I feel so comfortable and so blessed and so humbled that God is allowing these doors to open for us.
Right.
And us to be able to walk through. We're walking through as a network.
Right.
We're walking through as soldiers and warriors of Christ.
Right.
You know, because the whole network is built on faith, man.
You talk about.
I didn't know how I was going to pay the bills.
Can I share one quick story with you, Mike?
God makes sure that all the bills are paid every month, and we're allowed to go out and do the benefit shows and travel and help people and spread the word. And, you know, I just want to say one thing. Bringing the American Legion, see, our whole vision is to try to unite the American Legions.
That'd be great.
National level, man, with the Voice for the Children concert. Because American Legions, they are the essence of what our military and veterans is all about, man. They are the if it wasn't for them and the people like VFW and the Eagles and the Moose Lodge and all these great organizations, we need to unite them with benefit tours.
That'd be awesome.
You know, people do benefit concerts and they raise money and then that's it. We need, what my vision is to unite and have ongoing tours to raise money constantly for people in need in all the communities, through all the organizations, and it can be done.
Yeah, it can be done.
You know, we got to unite each other, man. Everybody's so divided. You know,
you got to find each other first, and how you find each other is through this network, American Hearts Radio and Web TV. You'll find us right here. The address is right there. Everything's right there. You'll read it at the bottom of the thing there, and you can get a hold of us. Get a hold of Mike Aloia. He's the CEO. Get a hold of any one of his partners, Bruce, or Batman, or any of these great guys that work for Mike. You're not gonna be sorry.
I tell you, Batman's new show, Amazing Kids of the World.
I love that. I saw
that
it.
concept. You know, we were having some copyright issues where we couldn't run his show. He was doing the vintage cartoon stuff,
right.
And that was great. I love the vintage cartoons, but I wanted to get more viewership. I wanted to make sure we could run on YouTube and all these multiple video platforms that we do. We run on multiple video platforms all over the social net. We're the kings of social net. There ain't no doubt about it. There ain't nobody pushing as hard of content as us out there and making a difference and making those waves, man. We're going to be a tidal wave that is just engulfing the whole social net right now. All right? Now, it just hit me. It said, all kids want to be a hero, and all kids are heroes. I love kids, man. I'm my grandson, and, you know, little Jacob, I thank God for him and his mama Joy. You know, she started with me, and he loved Professor Gravitron. He loved Enos Mohammed. He was part of the network. He came involved, and he loved what we're doing. We're reaching kids. We're reaching families. We're reaching the hearts of veterans and older people and, you know, all ages, man. And it's just an amazing journey and an amazing thing how you can touch lives through entertainment and inspire people and to be creative and let them know they can make a difference. And some of these kids that are being spotlighted on Batman and Jackson's show are just phenomenal. A kid's cleaning the ocean. A little girl that has disabilities that raises money by swimming across the lake. You know,
I know, it's amazing.
A kid
I was blown away.
that has, you know, is working on research to find the cures and for cancers and working to detect them early with pancreatic cancer. You know, there's just so much wonderful things that kids are doing and people are doing that are not being spotlighted on the mainstream media.
Right, and I love what Batman said. Batman of Jax on that show said, and I thought this was wonderful, he said, it's great to spotlight some of the kids because we talk about all the bad news and all the bad stuff with kids and stuff. These are kids that are doing good things, and you can do good things.
Right.
And he encourages kids, as Batman of Jax, to do good things. And I think it was just a great portrayal of the essence of what Batman should be. A superhero for the kids. No disrespect to you 40-year-olds who like
give
Batman.
Inspiration to kids, man. There's a lot of kids, a lot of bullying going on out there. A lot of kids brought down. A lot of kids living with no mom or no dad around, and they don't know what to do. But they may just one Saturday morning get on their mobile phone and be watching the amazing kids of the world with Batman and Jackson. And it may inspire that one child.
That's right.
You know, that's down and out, or he's a hermit, or he's isolated. You know, and people are bullying him. You know, there's so much hate out there, and all we want to do is show love.
Love. That's right.
From the heart. Bring the hearts of the world together, and that's the broken, the people that are addicts, drug addicts. You know, pray for these people. Pray for the people that are lonely. Pray for the people that are grieving. Pray for the people that are lost and have no direction. That's what our network is it gives direction, like direction of the heart, you know? And it's so simple, man. I mean, I don't know why God chose me and us to do this, but we are trailblazing. And we're here to make a difference. And I thank God for Bruce Shepard and Sarah and Batman and my dad and Chris and Dan and everybody and you, Pete.
Thank you, buddy.
You know?
And I got to say something. Well, I want to tell you one story before we go.
Go ahead. Tell me a story.
There's a quick story.
Love your
About
stories.
my uncle who was the karate guy.
All right.
I was living in California back then as a street performer back then, and working at the Comedy Store on Monday nights for Mitzi Shore, Pauly Shore's mom.
Wow.
And I was going on stage a lot, hanging out there.
Pauly Shore.
Yep. And I'm down on the street one day, and my uncle got into town early without me knowing it. I didn't have an address. I was living, you know, apartment to apartment, friend's house. I sleep on this couch, that couch, sometimes on rooftops when I was a kid. I did all that stuff, juggled and did the ventriloquism on the street. And my uncle found me on Hollywood Boulevard, walked right up to me, and I go, "How'd you find me?" He goes, "I always know where to find you." And it was just like that. That was my Uncle Bill, the karate guy. That night, he took me to the Improv Comedy Club. Instead of the Comedy Store, we wanted to go to the Improv, just to try something different for a change. We got approached by a guy. Well, I was sitting in the lobby getting ready with my puppet. I was sitting there talking to my puppet, getting ready, you know. And my Uncle Bill's sitting there having a soda, and we're waiting, and this guy walks right up to me in full makeup, full costume, a character. You'd appreciate this, Mike. And he says, "What is that? Is that the dummy? Is that the puppet? Is that the puppet?" I did not know who this guy was. Andy Kaufman. Did not know. And he was touching my puppet, Justin, and doing all this. "Is it real? Is it real? Is this real? Let me see if this is real." And then,
That's wonderful.
I just could never forget that. He goes into the room, they call him on stage, and there's these double doors like this. Double doors like this with the little holes, like a little circle thing, like on SpongeBob SquarePants. I looked through those double doors, and he's on stage to the song, "Here I Am to Save the Day." And the crowd's going wild. And I was a young comedian, I'll be honest with you. I didn't get it.
Man
I was
on the
like,
moon, baby.
"What is this?" And now I know, of course, it was the late
He was the late,
Andy
great
Kaufman.
Andy Kaufman. You know, it's weird.
Yeah.
You know what?
And my Uncle Bill and I laughed
When I
about
do the characters and stuff, Bruce came up to me one day. He says, "Man," he says, "like living with Andy Kaufman." He told me that.
That's funny.
So, you know, I love you, Bruce. Man, you're the best, brother. And Andy Kaufman, you know, he's another one. Life
He was
cut
great.
Short.
He was
His
great.
life was cut short.
Yep. Did you ever see that movie with Jim Carrey that played his part? Jim Carrey.
Yes,
did an awesome
Man on the Moon.
portrayal.
That's what I was saying. Great flick. Jim Carrey did a phenomenal job.
I thought that was so underrated because he portrayed his essence, his
Oh man,
personality,
he hit it
everything.
right on the head, man.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey's phenomenal.
Yeah, that was awesome.
You know, we're about out of time.
Okay.
And this has been a fantastic interview. I know you just watched one of our latest shows, a couple of them, Laugh, Love, and Live with Helen Carlisle.
Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
I thank God for her and her husband, Christopher, Pastor Carlisle, being on our network. And also Vanessa Huntley with Audio Prism Show. You just watched that.
Yes, very
she
good.
brings, as well as Helen, that
Excellent.
beauty, grace, and elegance to the network. We've had several wonderful women on our network, you know, over the past few years. But I tell you, God is bringing the great people, and He's uniting us through this network. And if you want to be part of this network, give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your story. I'd love to for you to be part of our family.
And tune in real soon and listen to my buddy, my right-hand man buddy, his new show, Justin and Friends. Keep Almost Real.
Almost Real.
Almost Real. I got to get used to that. Almost Real. Because Justin always says it and I get mad at him for saying it. He always says, "I'm not real." But no, it's called Almost Real. Check it out on
I'll tell you
American
what.
Arts Radio Web TV.
That's right. AmericanArtsRadio.com, baby. And hey, if you got any corporate events out there, festivals, concerts, private gigs, benefit shows, we also have Harmony Booking Company, a great stable of talent, man. All genres of music, comedy, variety, you name it, we've got it.
Magicians.
We've got magicians, we've got authors, we got
Jugglers.
America's hippest ventriloquist. You know, I thank God for where we're at. I thank God for you, my brother.
Thank you,
I
brother.
thank you for him that you're in my life every day.
Thank you.
I'm
Mike.
grateful that we finally got you a show, and it's not really you.
No, it's not really me. It's Justin doing his thing.
Yes, sir.
We'll let Justin run with it. I think he'll do fine. I don't mind being behind the scenes once in a while.
Well, you know what, Pete?
It's been fun.
It's fun behind the scenes.
Yes, it is.
I love you, brother.
Love you too, brother. God bless.
God bless you, man. Thank you for tuning in, everybody.
Thank you.
Give us a call, 904-229-8150. Be part of our family. Go to www.americanheartsradio.com. Send us a comment. Shoot me an email, ahradiolllc@hotmail.com. God bless you and your family. Everybody be safe. And
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. And Happy New Year. And namaste.
Namaste.
Rock and roll.